Well, I went ahead to predict 3-1, but Arsenal have gone ahead to add just one more to make it 4-1 win over Newcastle at the Emirates Stadium. I saw it coming. Arsenal just needed this response in the Premier League. They've gone ahead to score 25 goals in 6 consecutive games. Oh my goodness. Arsenal is really up and running, and they're really doing the needful, and trust me, they've gone ahead to really register another win into this game of football. And who it was an own goal coming in through from Steve Bootman, but remember, it was a very good, well taken corner by Bukayo Saka, headed into the goal mouth by Gabriel Magalhaes, but then it was really headed into, or it was completed to cross the line of Newcastle by Steve Bootman, netting in his own net. 6 minutes later, Kai Havertz went ahead to really make it 2-0 for the side of Arsenal, and it was an assist coming in through from Gabriel Martinelli. Then that was the end of half time. You know, it's always said that games are really hard when you really... No, it's always said that the best result and worst result is to complete half-time when you're 2 goals up. But Arsenal came in through and obviously ended the first half at 2-0. They went into the half-time. They really returned. Newcastle tried to obviously respond and pull one back. But Arsenal were really so solid at the back, and they couldn't allow them to really get one back. Because if Newcastle pulled one back by then, the game would have gone ahead to turn out to be really toxic for the side of Arsenal. And guess what? It was like 20 minutes into the second half. 65th minute, Martin Odegaard released Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka produced a moment of magic and really went ahead to score a very brilliant goal. Guys, that's what I always talk about. If Saka continues to go ahead and really produce such moments, I'll tell you that that is a world-class finish by Bukayo Saka. I tell you what, that was really a world-class, sublime finish by Bukayo Saka, and he really takes the day in there for you, and he really completed it very well. Those are moments that I was telling you about when Arsenal was playing against FC Porto, that Saka needed to raise up to the occasion, like I was going to hate to do today. What's the importance of Bukayo Saka's goal? Arsenal was leading by 2-0, and Newcastle looked like they are knocking on the door of Arsenal to see to it that obviously try to pull one back and really find the equalizer. And that was the last nail in the coffin. You know, if at all Eddie Howe and his players were really thinking that maybe there was something they could do to the side of Arsenal and really stop them, that was like, you can't do anything on us. And Arsenal went ahead to obviously score that goal through Bukayo Saka. 4 minutes later, Jakub Kiwior capitalizes a corner kick, and heads it in the back of the net. I think it was brought in by Declan Rice, and it really went down well. So it's really very important to note that this is the time that Arsenal is really showing intent of really chasing down the trophy or the table leaders, that is Liverpool and Man City. So, but later we saw Joe Willock coming in through in the 84th minute and went ahead to obviously just pull one back. It was like a consolation goal, returning back to Emirates and scoring for the side of Newcastle. And how significant was this goal? This goal was really too significant because it was the first goal that Arsenal scored that Newcastle scored at Emirates in a decade. Can you imagine? It shows you how Newcastle never had a lot of chances to win against Arsenal in the previous times. Because if you cannot score a goal, then you cannot win. That is it. You only win games when you score goals. That is it. If you cannot really score goals, then you cannot win. So Newcastle in the last decade hadn't scored a goal at the Emirates, and today it has been Joe Willock on his return to the Emirates. He went ahead to really score a very brilliant, I think it was a header, and it went to the back of the net. He came off the bench and really made it count for the side of Newcastle, and that was all about this beautiful game of football. But I would like to really give Arsenal its flowers for how they went ahead to control this game throughout the entire 90. The first half, it was all controlled by Arsenal, and the second half was the same story. So it wasn't a game of two halves. It was a game of one-way traffic. Newcastle couldn't obviously match the intensity of Arsenal. By the way, in the first half, when you look at the intensity at which Arsenal went ahead to put the game on, they were like telling Newcastle, there is no way through until you really give us what we really deserve. And what they deserved was 4 goals. And if it was not Arteta taking off the players and obviously trying to reduce the force on the pitch, really to reduce the force on the pitch, Arsenal would have gone ahead to continue going rampant, because in the first half, Arsenal had 4 shots on target and 2 crossed the line. They had 34 passes. They had 63% ball possession. Can you imagine? Arsenal had 63% ball possession and 122 final passes completed. And Newcastle only had 9 final passes completed. So it shows you how hard this side of Arsenal was and how it went down in history, that they went ahead to obviously make Newcastle suffocate. And guys, in the first half, it would have gone ahead to go ugly to levels of like 4-5, but it was not all that the response. But there are certain stats that Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously put up to the records, and you really need to obviously understand them. Saka, is the first English player in the Premier League, the first English player at Arsenal to score in 5 consecutive games. That is it through, and this has been compiled by what we call Opta-Joe, and you know what this guy does. He feeds on stats, and that's what he obviously comes in through to really give us. And when he gives us those stats, we are also not bad. We come in through and obviously really bring them to you in a nick of an eye. And let's obviously get you these stats as you guys need them to know. But smash like button close to 300 times as you celebrate this win of Arsenal. And whoever knows what Arsenal needed today, it was that. From a loss of FC Porto, you just needed a response like that to really climax your week on a high. Opta-Joe told us that Bukayo Saka is the first English player to score in 5 consecutive Premier League games for Arsenal since Ian Wright, 7th December, between September and November 1994. In there for you, I think it was at the hell end. So Saka has gone ahead to score in 5 consecutive games of the Premier League, and he has scored in this game. He scored a brace against Burnley. He scored a brace against West Ham. He scored 1 goal against Liverpool, and he scored 1 goal against Nottingham Forest. And those are the 5 games that we're talking about. So in the game of Crystal Palace, Saka never really scored. I think he just had an assist. So that is Bukayo Saka for you. And after Bukayo Saka being a record setter, Arsenal has another player that has gone ahead to obviously set up a record, and this is really a general record in there for you for the club of Arsenal. And what does that record read? It reads that Arsenal have become the first team in the Premier League history to score 2+ goals in 7 consecutive halves of football. Unstoppable. So they've gone ahead to become the first team in the Premier League history to score 2+ goals in 7 consecutive halves. So looks like 7 consecutive halves. That means that when you look at the game of 7 consecutive halves, those are 3 games and 1 half, because every game has 2 halves, times 2 times 3, those are 6, and to make it 7, you have to get 1 half, and that 1 half comes in through when Arsenal are playing against Liverpool. Not so. Against Liverpool, Arsenal scored 2 goals in the second half. You remember that very well. It was Trossard and Martinelli. So when they are playing against West Ham, they scored 4 in the first half, and they scored 2 in the second half. Against Burnley, it was, I think, 2-0. When they returned, they made it 5. That means they scored 2 goals in the first half and 2 goals in the second half. Those are the halves you're talking about. Then later, they had what we call another team called Newcastle today, and they've gone ahead to score 2 in the first half. That was an own goal of Steve Bootman. Then Kai Havertz Second half, it was Bukayo Saka and Jakub Kiwior. That's another record set by the club of Arsenal that you need to obviously get onto your fingertips and really understand that Arsenal is not here to really joke. But this is a response that any manager will obviously really want to really see himself really getting up and running. Because if you don't really do this, when are you going to do this? Because as you prepare to go ahead and really play, I think next week they're playing about Sheffield, Arsenal really had to do this. And what a way to return from a loss away in the Champions League. And that was really very, very toxic for Arsenal. I was like conceding in the late minutes of the game. So we've gone ahead to really get something in here coming in from Sky Sports that at 22 years and 172 years old, Bukayo Saka is the first player to score in 5 consecutively appearances for Arsenal since Olivier Giroud in 2015, and is the youngest to do so for the club Arsenal since Jose Antonio Reyes in 2004. Rest in peace, Jose Antonio Reyes. But I've gone ahead to like what Arteta's gone ahead to come with. He has decided to really get hard and really press this team. He has gone ahead to press this team hard. He has gone ahead to give them the best they deserve as a team, and nothing has gone ahead not to go the way they've obviously gone ahead to want it. So when you look at the side of Arsenal, they have pressed well. They never allowed Newcastle to really have breathing space. Arsenal almost played in the final third, for the first 45 minutes of the game. They started on a high. In a space of like 1-2 minutes, they had like 3 corners. They were all over, and the hunger was really high. And I believe it's really going to take them places if they continue playing against teams like Newcastle like that. Newcastle was really a good team, but trust me, Arsenal was better, and they're playing at the Emirates. Remember, they had last played at Emirates when they're beating Liverpool by 3-1, and they had gone ahead to return after destroying 2 Premier League teams in an 11 goal win. That was how much they went ahead to score in 2 games, and now they've gone ahead to really make it 25 goals in the 6 games they've gone ahead to play into the Premier League, and their goal difference is really looking good and better. So Arteta is a happy man. Saka is now at 13 goals in the Premier League. I have a friend of mine who told me that Saka is not going to hit 20 goals a season now. Saka is left with 12 games, right? Because this has been the 26th game of the season, and he has gone ahead to score another goal today. But let's not forget about Martin Odegaard, another assist in his pocket. I told you that this guy is going to really get in assists and goals all combined. Having gone ahead to really get a yellow card in the first minutes of the game after he lost the ball and went ahead to stop Miguel Almiron before he crossed the center line. He went ahead to really release Saka, and Saka did justice to that pass that Odegaard went ahead to make for him, and Saka went ahead to score a very brilliant goal that curled into the back of the net. But I think Karius is a calamity. He's a calamity. When you look at the 3rd and 4th goal, I think would have gone ahead to do better, but he couldn't. He couldn't really do better. For the first 2 goals, you cannot blame him for any of those efforts, because those efforts were put in by good players, and these were world-class players that really went ahead, obviously coming through and take it to the level where it is right about now. So when you're talking about performances, Odegaard has been another player to perform in there very well. But Jorginho, when he was playing there, the second goal that Arsenal really scored, you saw how he really looked out for the run of Martinelli. Martinelli ran towards the byline, and that run of Martinelli was read like a book by Jorginho, and then Martinelli put in a cutback, and it was really finished by the weak foot of Kai Havertz. For Kai Havertz, he has gone ahead to score another goal, and Arsenal fans, you should really soothe all the haters. Do you still blame Mikel Arteta for getting in this guy now? Do you really? I don't think that you really blame Arteta for what he went ahead to do to sign that player called Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz has gone ahead to obviously score another important goal for the side of Arsenal, and he has now gone ahead to take his tally Premier League goals to 6 and 2 assists. That is Kai Havertz for you, and he's going ahead to obviously do that role and lead the line very, very well. He was pressing very well. He was really doing everything well, and Arsenal just had to reserve even Gabriel Jesus. They never went ahead obviously bring him with the field of play, because all was done and there was no need to risk him in the game of football like this. You get him on and he really gets injured, everyone is going to blame you. And I think Mikel Arteta used his psychology and he got it right. So Jesus having gonna hit return, he's really gonna return as Arsenal plays away at Sheffield, and see how he's really gonna do the job. So this is how everything is really standing up. 18 shots by Arsenal, 3 shots by Newcastle, 8 shots on target by Arsenal, 2 shots on target by Newcastle, 56% ball possession by Arsenal, 44% ball possession by Newcastle, 553 passes completed by Arsenal, 447 passes completed by Newcastle, 84% passing accuracy by Arsenal, 79% passing accuracy by Newcastle, 15 fouls by Arsenal and 6 fouls by Newcastle. 1 yellow card to Arsenal. It went to Martin Odegaard at the beginning of the game, but he really saw himself composed and he was not even sent off, not until he was really taken off. For shirt number 10 to come on through, that is Emile Smith-Rowe. 0 yellow cards to Newcastle, 0 red cards to both sides, 3 offsides to Newcastle, 3 offsides to Arsenal, 2 offsides to Newcastle, 9 corners to Arsenal and 0 corners to Newcastle. It shows you how Arsenal went ahead to close Newcastle down, and Newcastle getting 0 corners has been a big blow to Newcastle, because we've gone ahead to know how big they are, a side of Newcastle, when it comes to obviously scoring goals in set pieces, and that's what they do better, and they've gone ahead to really be stopped by the side of Arsenal. So as it stands, Arsenal is really closing in, and they've gone ahead to really win another game of football, and they're now having 58 points. Let's see exactly how the Premier League table is really looking, because even Man City would have gonna have been 1-0 winners away at Bournemouth, and they've gonna hate to really do the needful there. So Arsenal is still third on the Premier League table, but they are really doing good. Liverpool, 26 games played, 60 points, goal difference 38. Man City, 26 games played, and now they have the same number of games played, and they're having 59 points, and they're having a goal difference of 33. Arsenal, 26 games played, they're having 58 points, and they're having a goal difference of 39. So that shows you how the trophy race is really building up. With 12 games left, those are 36 points left. Now, how many are these 3 teams gonna really accumulate until the end of the season? Because you all know that at the end of the season, that's when everything is really gonna go gaga, you know, for the side of Arsenal in there for you. So let's wait and see how that pans out, but it's a very good table for the side of Arsenal, and I told Arsenal fans that you should be excited, because you are not really on the top. The moment you go on the tape, everyone will be asking, is Arsenal in the title race? Now, because 2 teams ahead of Arsenal are really favorites, they're gonna hit to win this trophy in the recent 4-5 years, and Man City are the biggest winners of all. No one has come out to really say they are not gonna, they are in the race. Sorry, that they are really topping the table. But the moment you say Arsenal topping the table, everyone is going to be saying Arsenal are going to win the trophy. Are they going to win the trophy? Hence, the pressure really piles. But in that difference of 2 points between them and Liverpool, and 1 point between Arsenal and Man City, it really does Arsenal the best of benefit to really get themselves to where they deserve to be. But it has been a very good showcase at the side of Emirates. The energy was right, they were efficient, the players were hungry, and they had a lot left in their tanks amidst them playing away in Portugal and being on plane on the time, and they came in through with a bang. And that was really good for the club of Arsenal, and I think everyone really has gone ahead to really understand that it's not time to joke. It's an Arsenal sending a message that they are not a joking subject, and they're here to take it to the next level of really competing for the trophy. And with them playing Sheffield, then after Sheffield, there's a team they're going to play. Then they play Man City. I think after that they'll be playing, is it Chelsea? I think they're going to play Chelsea before we go to the international break. That's going to be the 16th of March. Then they'll have to play the other side that resides in West London, that is Chelsea, but Chelsea is going to pay a visit to Emirates. So how are Arsenal going to really get that game going? I don't know, but it's really going to be huge. So Arsenal are 4-1 winners against Newcastle, and this is what you obviously want. They say a bad beginning makes a good ending, and it looks like the saying is obviously making it making it right. Good beginning makes a bad ending. That's what happened to Arsenal last season, and looks like Arsenal have gone ahead to reverse the gear, and they are really taking their points, and they're really playing very well. By the way, when you look at all the games Arsenal have gone ahead to win this year, in this calendar year, they've gone ahead to play very well. Even the game where they lost away at FC Porto, they just lacked that final pass, to any player that was really ready to kill off the game. But they really had a lion's share of the possession, and I really believe FC Porto, when they come in at Emirates, Arsenal is going to really give them a beating that they will never forget in their lives. So Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Tell me your thoughts about Arsenal. It has been Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1 in the comment section below. I sign out for now. See you later. 20-minute video. I think it's enough. I'm going to have to tackle lots of things, and the others are going to be talked about by Rokani David in the player ratings. Good night to those going to bed. Those still awake, wait for the player ratings. They're going to be loading onto this channel. I love you.